Gentlemen, let's be honest for a moment. How many times have you wondered whether you're truly giving your partner the pleasure she wants? It's not the kind of question most people feel comfortable asking friends, and the internet is full of noise, bravado, and unrealistic expectations. Pornography and locker room talk have created a distorted picture of what real intimacy looks like. And as a result, many men end up confused, insecure, or misinformed about sex. Here's the truth. The way you move, the way you touch, the way you pay attention, and the way you manage yourself in bed can make the difference between leaving her feeling quietly unsatisfied or creating an experience that lights up her body and mind and deepens your connection. The good news is that these skills can be learned. You don't need to become someone else. You simply need to become more aware, more intentional, and more connected. Many men grow up believing sex is all about size, speed, and performance. They think harder, faster, and longer automatically equals better. But real-life intimacy doesn't work that way for most women. Research and clinical experience show that technique, emotional connection, communication, and attentiveness matter far more than how big you are or how fast you move. The female body responds to rhythm, variety, gradual arousal, clitoral stimulation, safety, and presence, not endless mechanical pounding. Yet a lot of good men carry silent anxiety that they're not enough, and that anxiety itself becomes a problem. It can lead to finishing too quickly, getting stuck in your head, or missing the signals she's giving you. You don't need to be bigger to be better. You need to be more aware, more patient, and more in tune with your partner. That is what truly changes the experience for both of you. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is simply to start slow. Most men become aroused quickly and feel an urge to rush ahead. But women's bodies usually take more time to become fully ready. Blood flow increases gradually, lubrication builds, and the muscles and tissues relax over time, not instantly. If you charge in too fast, she may feel discomfort instead of pleasure, physically and emotionally. When you slow down, you give her body time to respond and her mind space to feel safe and connected. You create warmth instead of tension, and you lay the foundation for deeper pleasure later. It isn't about delaying gratification, it's about building it. Teasing is another powerful tool that many men overlook. Desire isn't just about stimulation, it's also about anticipation. When you build sensation and then back off briefly, you're not depriving her. You're creating contrast that heightens her response when you continue. Her body learns to lean toward you. Of course, timing matters. Pulling away right as she's about to climax can be frustrating rather than exciting. So teasing is best earlier on, when arousal is still building. Think of it as feeding the fire instead of throwing everything on it at once. Variety is equally important. Doing the same thing the same way for too long often leads to both partners mentally checking out. The body adapts, sensation dulls, and what was exciting becomes repetitive. Changing pace, depth, angle, and rhythm keeps the experience alive. It isn't about performing tricks. It's about staying present and responsive instead of going on autopilot. This variety also helps with stamina because it prevents you from locking into one overly stimulating pattern that leads too quickly to orgasm. Another key insight is that sex is not only about in and out thrusting. For many women, clitoral stimulation plays a central role in pleasure. The clitoris is not just the small external part you see. It's a larger structure with branches that surround the vaginal canal. When your bodies are closely pressed together and you use slower, grinding, rocking, or circular motions rather than only fast thrusting, you're often stimulating the most sensitive network of nerves more directly. At the same time, these movements can help you last longer by reducing overstimulation, creating a win for both partners, more pleasure for her, and more control for you. The closeness and body contact also add emotional connection, which is just as important as the physical sensations. But above all techniques, the most powerful skill you can develop is attention. Your partner's body is constantly communicating with you through breathing, sounds, movements, tension, relaxation, and the way she responds to your touch. Every woman is different. What one partner loved may not work for another, and the same woman may want different things at different times. Porn doesn't teach you to listen. Real intimacy does. When you pay attention and respond in real time, you show care, respect, and presence. That alone builds trust and desire in a way no specific move ever could. When you put all of this together, a simple pattern appears. Go slower at first, build anticipation, change rhythms, include grinding and body contact, and stay present. These aren't complicated tricks. They're shifts in mindset and awareness. With practice, they become natural. You'll likely notice not only changes in her reactions, but also in your confidence, calmness, and enjoyment. Maybe you've struggled before. Maybe you finished too fast, lost your erection, or felt unsure of what to do. Maybe you worry about aging or feel like you're past your best years. The truth is, improvement is possible at any age. Men in their 40s, 60s, and even 80s can learn new ways to connect and enjoy fulfilling intimacy. Sexual ability is not a fixed trait you were either born with or not. It is deeply connected to health, communication, stress, emotional closeness, and practice. And remember, real intimacy isn't a performance. It is not about being perfect or copying something you saw online. It's about the two of you in a real moment with real emotions, vulnerability, curiosity, and care. Women don't just want physical stimulation. They want to feel safe, respected, desired, and connected. When you focus on listening instead of proving yourself, when you slow down instead of rushing, and when you treat intimacy as something you share instead of something you deliver, the entire experience changes. It also helps to widen the lens beyond technique. Good intimacy starts outside the bedroom. Trust, kindness, respect, honest conversation, and emotional safety are powerful aphrodisiacs. Small gestures, affection without expectations, quality time, and genuine interest in your partner's life create an environment in which sexual connection can thrive. On the other hand, unresolved resentment, constant stress, and lack of communication can shut down desire no matter what techniques you use. So part of being better in bed is being better outside of it. More supportive, more open, and more emotionally available. Your own health matters too. Sleep, exercise, mental health, alcohol use, medications, and medical conditions can all affect erection quality, stamina, and desire. If you struggle consistently, talking with a qualified healthcare professional can help. It's not a sign of weakness. Just as you'd see a doctor for knee pain or high blood pressure, seeking help for sexual concerns is normal and responsible. Anxiety itself is one of the biggest enemies of sexual performance. When you're constantly monitoring yourself or worrying you're failing, your body responds with stress rather than arousal. Learning to relax, breathe, and focus on connection rather than outcome often makes a remarkable difference. It's also worth saying clearly that consent and communication are central. Checking in, asking what she likes, inviting her to guide you, and respecting her boundaries are signs of strength, not insecurity. Many women find vulnerability deeply attractive, the willingness to learn, to ask, and to listen. The best lovers are not the ones who know everything, but the ones who are willing to pay attention and grow together. So, the next time you're with your partner, don't measure yourself by size, time, or comparison to some unrealistic standard. Instead, ask yourself whether you're present, connected, and responsive. If you are listening to her body, attuned to her signals, and focused on creating a shared experience rather than chasing a performance, you are already ahead of most men. Intimacy is a skill and a relationship, not a competition. Related to everything above, remember that a fulfilling sex life is not just about techniques in the moment, but about the broader relationship you build. Emotional intimacy, open conversations about desires and boundaries, mutual respect, and ongoing curiosity about each other's bodies and minds all make sex richer and more satisfying. Explore non-sexual touch, like cuddling, kissing, holding hands, and long hugs, because they strengthen your bond and make sexual moments feel safer and more meaningful. Don't be afraid to talk about what you like and invite her to do the same. Laugh together when things are imperfect, because they will be. Focus on connection rather than perfection, growth rather than comparison, and partnership rather than performance. When you approach intimacy this way, you don't just improve technique. You deepen love, trust, pleasure, and confidence for both of you.